All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for joining me. My name is Mike Davis. I am the co-founder and chief technology officer of MPOWER Financing. Joining me today is also Aman Jain, our ambassador in India. If you do have any questions, Aman's phone number is listed right below. Feel free and take that down. If you have any questions about our loan products, whether you're eligible, anything really, go ahead and contact Aman, and he's more than happy to help you out. Aman, is there anything that you would like to add at this point?
No, I think I just want to thank everybody who's online attending our webinar. Um, as Mike said, feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions after the webinar or shoot me an email. We have to answer any of the questions. Mike, you can go ahead and take it.
Great. Thank you for that, Aman. I'm going to go ahead and move to the next page. So, I wanted to start with why did we start MPOWER? Why did we create MPOWER? The main reason was because U.S. banks, as they are set up today, are not set up to help and finance international students. They do not have loan products where international students can apply for them without needing a U.S. cosigner. Here is an example of Aman's specific problem. In 2008, I've been admitted to a top U.S. program. Why aren't banks lending to me without a U.S. based cosigner? Why does this process take months with so much paperwork and a lot of running around? This is not only Aman's viewpoint, but several other students have had this same issue, including my co-founder and I. So that is why we set up MPOWER. Oops, let me come back here. Let me go to the thing. So our mission. Today, many Indian students struggle to finance their education in the US. So you are not alone, right? Manu and I, when we started the business, before we even created a website, before we even started talking to folks about how and what would make sense to bring to the market, we sized this market. You are not alone in this desire to get financing, and it's not just a problem that's specific to India. All around the world, international students get admitted to U.S. colleges, but then U.S. banks will not lend. So we changed that, right? We said this is this is ripe for a solution, right? And so how do we do it, right? We work with high potential students and help you guys obtain funding for your studies, right? A little bit about ourselves. My co-founder Manu, he did his undergrad at University of Virginia, and he did his MBA at INSEAD. He is French, so he, as a French national, came to the U.S., studied at UVA, had this specific problem. Myself, I'm actually originally from Iran, and I studied at Purdue. I did my undergrad there. I did my MBA at INSEAD. That is where Manu and I met. And a little bit about ourselves. Manu really loves playing soccer. As you can see, he's thinner, more in shape, probably because he plays soccer. I am not as thin, and that's because I love tech. I don't think that's a very causal relationship there, but just a little bit about us so that you know that there are actual humans behind MPOWER. So, a little introduction about MPOWER. So, I told you Manu and I founded the company. The unique thing about our company is the way that we underwrite students. We do not require a credit score in the U.S. What we're looking for is high potential students, as demonstrated by your academic and your career potential. Little information about the loan details, right? Again, the opportunity to innovate here is around the no cosigner needed and the fact that we don't use the US credit score as a basis for underwriting. A lot of you are wondering what the interest rates are. They do range from 7.99 to 13.99. In order for you to get the specific interest rate that would apply to you, you would need to actually fill out an application. Our application process, the eligibility form, will tell you instantly if you are eligible for a loan from us. It is free to apply, and you can borrow up to $25,000 annually, and you can do that twice. So the total maximum is $50,000 over the course of 2 years. It is an online process, as I mentioned. It takes roughly 10 minutes between the eligibility and the application form. It takes about 10 minutes to go from the first page all the way to the last page. The entire thing is digital. You do not need to print anything out. You can do it from your phone, your tablet, or your computer. We will walk through that in a second. And then the decision process is rather straightforward, and it takes roughly 3 business days for us to get back to you. So super fast and all digital. I'm going to pause here and ask if anyone has any questions. Let me see. Are there anyone who has their hands raised? Akash, I see that you have your hand raised. Do you want to take yourself off mute and ask your question? Okay. All right, so your hand is back down. All right, I'm going to assume no one has any questions, and I will continue. So our criteria, what we look at, like we said, it's about academic potential. It's about success in your academics. To kind of quantify that, we're looking at GPAs. We're looking at your GMAT score, and whether your graduation is less than 2 years away. So what does this mean? It means if you're an undergrad and you're a junior, right, then we are likely to be able to lend to you. Like, again, there's lots of factors that go into eligibility, but in terms of graduation, it's 2 years away from graduating. So undergrad, junior, undergrad, senior, graduate student first year, or graduate student second year. This population, fantastic, right? Your also your school and your program are highly regarded, right? So what we're looking for there is, where are you going to school? What are you studying in that school? Again, it's so many different combinations that the best way to determine if you're eligible, just go ahead and fill out that first page. That is our eligibility form. It's super straightforward. It should take you less than 2 minutes to fill out and determine whether you're eligible. Now, again, what's unique about our product is also what we don't look at, right? We don't require collateral. You don't need to have some money set aside in a bank account. It's not required for you to have collateral. Also, we don't need a cosigner. We don't need your parents in India to cosign. We also don't need a U.S. cosigner either. Right? Again, we're basing this decision on your potential, your academic potential, your career potential. Equally, no credit score is required. So we understand that you're an international student. You've lived probably the majority of your life in India, and you don't have a U.S. credit score, and that's absolutely fine. The other thing, your family's financial background is not a factor. It's not your parents' bank account balance that we're using to evaluate your loan. I was just asked to provide one point of clarity here. What we mean by graduate student is a master's student, right? So if you are getting your master's in the U.S., MS in U.S., right, that is a population we're very interested to talk to. Again, we encourage you to fill out the eligibility form to determine if you are eligible for a loan from MPOWER. So that's a little bit about our criteria, what we look at and what we don't look at. Again, it's quite an innovative loan product. So, why MPOWER, right? Why not some of the other choices that are out there? This chart here really explains some of the things that really resonate with students, certainly international students. As I've mentioned, no U.S. cosigner, no credit score required. These are 2 of the things that kind of set us apart from some of the other alternatives that people use to finance their schools. Also, our interest rates are rather competitive, to 7.99 to 13.99. We have flexible repayments We have a 3-year loan product and we have a 10-year loan product. Both of these loan products also have a small touch payment that help you build U.S. credit scores. What that means is if you make this small payment while in school, MPOWER is able to report your loan and your credit and the ability and the fact that we have a loan product extended to you as a means for you to build credit in the US. The other thing that you can do is use the approval letter, the MPOWER approval letter for your US visa support, right? So the loan approval letter does support your F1 visa application. Also, there's US tax advantages for those of you who are interested in staying in the US and working in the US after graduation. The interest on your MPOWER loan is tax deductible. So, some of the US tax advantages there. Also, there's a grace period. So principal payments can be deferred up to 6 months after you graduate. Again, the idea here is we recognize that, as a student, you're going to be focused on getting a job, getting settled after you graduate. And so we give you 6 months to do that. During those 6 months, your payments are interest only. There is no principal being required or asked of you during that time. And so you have 6 months to get yourself established, and then your payments will then move to interest plus principal after this grace period. The other thing that you can do is refinance at a lower rate. Again, because we help you build and establish your US credit, right? What you might find is that you will be eligible for even lower interest rates once you've made a handful of payments with MPOWER. Now that you have a US credit score established, you will be able to, entertain the notion of getting refinanced at a lower rate. So that's another one of the advantages. I have already mentioned the fast application process, starting with our eligibility form. This chart here says 3 minutes. I have timed myself doing it. It is about 2 minutes, but again, I'm not gonna split the hairs on 1 minute difference. But go ahead and complete that online application. Again, it's accessible from your phone, from your tablet, and your desktop. You can fill out the first page, come back later, fill out the application if you'd like. If you don't have all the documents necessary to fill out the application, go ahead and find those documents and come back. You can pick up the application where you left off. And lastly, we provide career support, right? So what we do here, again, like our incentives are aligned with yours. We would like you to graduate from college. We want you to find a job after graduation. And so to that end, we have career placement coaches that will help you find a job after graduation. This does not mean we have jobs ready for you after graduation. We will help you, right? So what that means is we will help you put your resumes together, give you tips about interviewing and how to best prepare for an interview. One of the best ways to get this career advice is to follow us on Facebook. We put out tips and tricks and blog articles on how to do that on our Facebook page, also on our Twitter page. If you want to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, that's how you're going to get some of that career support. So far, so good. I'm going to pause again and see if people have any questions. Let me see here. Anyone? Hands raised. No one has questions. Okay. So moving back, we will. Wow. All right. So next steps. What should you do next after this webinar? Well, if you'd like to check your eligibility, you go straight to our website, www.empowerfinancing.com, click on Borrow, and then click on Find Out More. You will be able to check your eligibility there. There you can see if your school and your program make you are eligible to get a loan from us. The next thing, if you are eligible, apply and upload documents, right? So again, the entire process is digital. The documents that you need are stated right up front. You know, what you will need throughout that application process are, for example, your GMAT scores, your transcripts, your admit letter, any scholarships or awards that you've gotten. Go ahead and upload those documents. Should take you roughly 8 minutes to apply online. Then what will happen is you will be verified on our online portal. So what we do behind the scenes is we look at your application, we schedule you for a phone screen to make sure that you understand what our loan product is, answer any questions that you have, and make sure that this is in fact the right fit for you. Also, what we do is we communicate with your school to verify that you are a student there, confirming your identity, confirming your tuition amount, making sure that we do actually understand what the gap is in your tuition financing, and that we are providing the appropriate amount for that loan product. That part of the process takes about 3 to 5 business days. Then once you're verified and you're approved, the funds are dispersed directly to the school. You don't need to worry about any paper checks or how to cash the check. It doesn't work that way. In fact, the whole thing is done automatically behind the scenes. The funds are directly dispersed to your school, and you'll see that reflected in your tuition amount that MPOWER has actually paid a portion of that because you have gotten your loan. Make sense? So I think I've made this point several times throughout the webinar. The application is entirely online. It's completely online, and you can access it through all these platforms. The next thing that you're going to see once you're approved is you're going to get an invitation from our partner, Ecology. They are the ones that provide you with your loan status and the ability to electronically sign your forms. You're going to be able to download the loan application. It is a contract, so make sure that you read it and download the loan contract, sign it, and then you can email it right back to us. And this will basically be the last step before the loan is consummated and the dollars are dispersed to the university. So what are your responsibilities in this, right? You will continue succeeding academically, right? Again, what we're looking for is these high potential students like the ones I'm sure that you all are all succeeding academically and you're getting admitted to top schools. We want you to be proactive in your job search. As we said, we provide coaches to help you along the process, but you really do need to own that piece of the process. And then lastly, make sure you make timely payments. To that end, we have several options available to you in terms of automatic withdrawals from your checking account for the interest-only payments while you're in school, so you can do it once. You don't have to worry about it again. And then every month we deduct that payment from your checking account, and this way you continue to build the U.S. credit history and improve your credit score. Again, just to be clear on the payments, while you're in school, it's only interest. And then 6 months after you graduate, it's still only interest payments. Then after that, after those 6 months, it becomes principal plus interest after you graduate. If you do have any questions, you can reach out to our customer care team. I mentioned Aman already. This is his phone number in India. If you are in the U.S. or you're in the process of moving to the U.S. already, we do have U.S. customer service as well. Go ahead and ask for Caroline, and this is the phone number that you can reach Caroline. Our email address is empowerme@empowerfinancing.com. If you have any questions, do let me know. At this point, I am going to stop talking and see if anyone is raising their hand for any questions. If you do have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question. Yeah. Okay. So first, interest rates for 8 to 14% is a wide range. Can I please have much more clear idea about interest rates? And do you have a physical location office in India? Okay. So two questions there. Can I please have a much more clear idea about interest rates? Absolutely, right? The way to get that clarity, because each student's situation is different, the best way to get that clarity is to go ahead and apply, right? As I mentioned, it is free to apply and it takes about 10 minutes. Then you will see exactly what your interest rate is. Second part of that question, do we have a physical location office in India? We are located in New Delhi, India. I'm going to let Aman speak to that. Aman, do you want to take yourself off mute and answer this question?
Yes, so we are located in New Delhi at this point. However, if you have any questions, you can always call me or email me. I'm always available on the phone. So if you need to talk to someone, ask more about MPOWER, just give us a call and we can help you that way.
Great. Okay. Any other questions? All right. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. Let people think about whether they have any questions. All right, Lana. What can the loan be used for? That's a great question. I should have covered that. Thank you for that question. So we do have specific purposes that the loan can be used for. Obviously, tuition is one of them. The second is university products. For example, healthcare, meal plans. If you need to pay for your on-campus housing, you can go ahead and use our loan to pay for on-campus housing as well. Um, I think, yeah, basically anything that there's a university invoice for, you can go ahead and use our loan product for that. That's a great question, Lana. Thank you for that. Kieran, okay. What if someone is ready to co-sign? Can the interest rate go down? Um, that's a great question. So, firstly, on the first half of that, what if someone is ready to co-sign? Our product does not require a co-signer. So we don't actually need you to have a cosigner. There are ways for your interest rate to go down. One of those ways is to go ahead and set up that automatic withdrawal every month. We do lower the interest rate if you do sign up for automatic withdrawal. So there are ways for you to lower your interest rate. Okay, next. You do not ask for any collateral. So how do you trust us to pay you? That is a great question. So we do have a fairly comprehensive interview, and the other thing is that if you listen, it is a loan product, right? There is a debt obligation that goes with that, and you are signing a contract. So we do have the ability to reach out to you and understand why you're not paying on that loan, and then the other part of it is we do have the ability to legally enforce the loan to get paid. So that's how we do it, right? We would prefer it not to get to that stage. We have many borrowers. We have a great relationship with those borrowers, and that's because it's once you're empowered, right? there are many more positive reasons to make sure that you are paying your loans, with the coaching, with the ability to help you establish U.S. credit, that it's more in your to your benefit to continue to pay the loans. Now, if you're not able to do so, you should reach out to us and we can make some alternative arrangements. But it is a debt obligation. Okay. What do you mean by automatic withdrawal? Kieran, that's a great question. So in the US, there is this notion called automatic checking withdrawal, right? So we have a form that you fill out once you arrive on shore, once you're in the US and you have a checking account in the US. We have a form that we will send you with the loan amount that you'll be responsible for paying every single month. And then you will put your checking account details there. And then so every month, what we do is we withdraw that monthly payment from that checking account. And so that's what we mean by automatic withdrawal. We do also provide you with a lower interest rate if you do set that up. So that's one way to reduce your interest rate. Back to Lana. Is there a penalty for paying off the loan early? Absolutely not. If you would like to pay your loan early, you are more than welcome to do so. There is no prepayment penalty. And we want to make sure that you have as much time as you need. But if you don't need that much time, you can pay your loan off early. Great question. Sumit's question is next. Can I get loan before the I-20 and use it for my visa interview? So you can definitely apply for a loan. The approved loan, the loan approval contract can be used for your I-20. Yes, indeed. But you will need to get your visa before you get your I-20. So you can use the approved loan docs for getting your visa, and then you can use those to get your I-20. Kieran, is there a penalty on prepayment? Answered that question. The answer is no. No, there is no penalty for prepayment. Do you take any signed checks while sanctioning the loan? I don't understand that question. Can you help me understand what that question means? I'd be happy to answer it. If you'd like to take yourself off of mute and answer that question or provide me some more details. Oh, do we take post-dated checks? Right. So I think the best way to answer this question is when we do extend that loan, if you are approved, you have 30 to 60 days to make that very first payment. In that time frame, you can make sure that you do set up a checking account and that account is funded. We will not take a check, an Indian check, post-dated or not, to sanction that. But the best way to answer this question is, go ahead and set up a U.S. checking account. Make sure that account is funded. Set up the auto pay, and enjoy some of that interest rebate that we provide. Okay. Any other questions? I'm going to give people some time to type their questions. All right, Sumit has another question. I have already taken an Indian education loan. Can I use this loan to repay that loan? That's a great question. Unfortunately, the answer at this time is no. One thing that you can do, I don't know what the specifics are of your Indian education loan, but I would check to see if there is any prepayment penalties there. You cannot use this loan to pay other loans, but you can use our loan to pay tuition at the school. We do direct disperse to the university. So to the extent that you can reverse out your Indian education loan and then use our loan, that would be the best way to go. Let's see, can I please put on screen the contact information? Yes, let me do that. Unfortunately, there we go. So this is the contact information. There you go, Lana. Great question. Do you have the school or major requirement? If I do not get admission from the top 200 universities in the U.S., can I get a loan? Right. So right now we do work with the top 200 universities in the U.S. There are specific states that we work with. We are expanding our state list every month. We are adding additional states. So what we recommend that you do is go ahead and fill out that eligibility page. The school and major requirements are already in that page. They will tell you instantly whether you are eligible or not. Again, that is no cost for you to fill out that page. Okay, any other questions? Okay, Will has a question. If I take a $25,000 loan for 1 year, but the university only requires $16K, do I pay interest on the full loan amount? Great question. So that is why we verify on the back end with the school, right? You might think that you need a $25,000 loan, but the university does the calculations. They see that your unmet need is only 16K. We will disperse only 16K. And then you will only need to pay interest on the 16K, so that we will only lend up to the maximum of what the university certifies is your need. Great question, Will. Thank you for asking. Kevin, how does your fixed rate differ from a variable rate that others may offer? That is a great question, Kevin. Let me go ahead and answer that. The difference between a fixed rate and a variable rate, right? So a fixed rate means exactly that. Today, your rate will be between, let's say, for example, you get a loan at 799. A year from now, your rate will still be 799. 9 years from now, it will still be 799. Throughout the entire life of this loan, your interest rate will remain fixed. There are other loan products out there offered by other folks that have a variable interest rate. And so what happens there is they use a base rate, either prime rate or a LIBOR. And then on top of that, they will add a differential. So you'll often hear prime plus a certain amount, or LIBOR plus a certain amount. The difference here is you don't know what your interest rate will be in the future. If that base rate changes, your overall interest rate will also change. So that's why we offer a fixed rate. You will know forever throughout the course of this loan what your interest rate will be. Next question. Are there any type of processing charges or any other types of charges? Kieran, that's a great question. So we do charge an origination fee for our loan. That is the only other fee that is charged, right? The origination fee. There is a 5% origination fee, and again, that is a one-time fee that is charged when the loan is approved. So there is no charge to apply. If you are approved for a loan, you'll notice in your loan documents that it shows, hey, this is the amount that we're going to disperse to the university. This is the total amount, which includes your origination fee. Now, one of the things that we do is we don't require you to pay that fee up front. That fee is added to your overall principal amount, and you have up to 10 years to pay the fee plus interest back. So you don't have to worry about any upfront charges that from MPOWER. Does that make sense? Hopefully that answers your question. Feel free and ask any follow-up questions that you'd like. These are great questions, guys. Keep them coming. If anyone has any questions, feel free and just type them up here. Sumit, okay. After my education, if I move back to India, how do I make the payments? Yeah, great question. So that is something that we have taken into account. Because you have spent time in the U.S., because you've already set up a U.S. bank account, the only thing that you need to continue to do is make sure that that U.S. bank account remains to be funded, right? And then those automatic payments will continue to be deducted from that checking account. We are looking into um, other means that you can pay, but at the moment, this is the best way to pay to ensure that you also take advantage of the rate decrease that we provide. So if you set up that automatic payment, your interest rate will go down. Any other questions? Sumit, that was a great question. Thank you for asking. Okay. Well, if that is the last question, I think that about does it for this webinar. I do want to thank everybody for joining us today. If you do have any questions, feel free and reach out to Aman in India. The phone number is right there on screen. If you are already in the US or will be in the US shortly, feel free and ask for Caroline. This is Caroline's phone number, and we would be happy to. Oh, hang on. One question just came in. Please share this presentation on email. Kieran, happy to talk to you afterwards. Yep, we have your email address, and I'll send you this presentation. Anybody else that would like to get this presentation via email? Let me know. Aman also has a copy of this. Okay. Sinath, no problem. I will send it to you as well. Great. Well, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for joining us today. That concludes this webinar.